Many people say a young person should have a big goal. Have good habits. Surround yourself with the right people. Read more. Keep investing in yourself. That's the life we're supposed to live. Do you think that's true? I think it is. But when we actually try to live that way, it's not that easy. We say we must have a goal. Speaking of goals, it makes me want to ask you something. Do you think you're someone who has a clear goal? Some people say yes, some say no. But whether you do or not, I hope you stick around until the end, because I'm not here to give you some cliché, feel-good pep talk. Here's what I've been thinking. What is a goal, and how do you find one? Let's start with a term, the inspiration trap. Let me give you an example. It's like in those sports movies you've seen. The main character is the underdog who trains every single day, shoots hoops before sunrise, follows a strict schedule, studies, plays late into the night, and after 10-20 years, they finally become a champion. Sounds inspiring, right? But in real life, how many people can actually stick with that? Almost no one. Why? Because that be the best in the world goal is too broad. It's not grounded enough to keep you motivated. Now, imagine this same athlete has no rivals, no championship on the line, no pressure from teammates or coaches, and you tell them to get up at 4 a.m. to practice free throws in an empty gym. Within a month, they'd be asking themselves, why am I doing this every morning? What am I even chasing? I don't even like free throws that much. Why? I think it's because that number one in the world idea is just too abstract. At least for the main character in that movie, it's not compelling enough. It's not tangible. For them, it's basically a fake goal. Now, let's say I told that athlete, if you master this jump shot and can hit it consistently from deep, the girl you've been crushing on will actually start talking to you, maybe even go out with you. Do you think he'd suddenly put in the work? Of course he would. That's the thing, that best in the world title is just like success in our everyday life. It sounds impressive, but it's too vague to actually drive you. It's not specific enough. So what is a specific goal? We might not have the perfect definition, but we know that challenges are always specific. Like saying, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. in the middle of a snowstorm to run wind sprints for an hour, then spend the next 12 hours grinding through game footage. Those are specific, tangible challenges. In real life, it's failing a test, not being able to memorize a set of vocabulary words, struggling with a tough math formula. After you start working, it's something small, like writing a resignation letter, or big, like deciding which city to move to. Every single one of those is concrete. And here's the thing, small, specific challenges can be dangerous, because sometimes when we think about them all at once, we list them in our heads and realize, oh man, there's so much to do. And then we do nothing. We pull back. This brings us back to the start. What exactly is the motivation trap? It's chasing a fake, non-specific goal, even when we're genuinely working hard. For example, I want to be elite. I want to make a lot of money. I want to be in the spotlight. Or, more realistically, I want to be the best version of myself. And then you think, as long as I work hard every day, eventually, I'll make these dreams come true. And sure, logically, it's not wrong. That's what all the motivational books and YouTube videos say. But in practice, it almost never happens. So yes, We all say life should have a goal, but sometimes our goals are so big and so vague that they might as well not exist. And without a real goal, even hard work loses its meaning, because hard work is just a tool. It only exists to serve a result. So, this is why a lot of people today don't really have a clear goal. And they all share one thing in common: anxiety. I've been there myself, feeling restless, unsatisfied with where I was, not liking my job, not wanting to do the things in front of me. One day, a friend asked me, "So, what do you actually want to do?" I just shook my head. I don't know. What do I want? How would I even know that? And that's exactly why the anxiety hits so hard, because I had no target to aim for. The reason isn't complicated. When you're not happy with your current situation, of course you want to change it, but the question is how. I've thought about this a lot. If you want to change yourself, you've got to have a goal, and that goal needs to be specific and detailed. In my mind, there are really only two kinds of goals worth chasing. 1, something you like. 2, something you need. Forget chasing fake versions of success. Instead, ask yourself, what's the very next thing I'm going to do? Do I actually enjoy it? Or do I truly need to do it? Alright, let's talk about like first. How? Do you know if you really like something? One way to tell is by asking yourself, can I accept all the negatives that come with it? For example, you like painting, but would you still want to do it for 10 hours a day? You love the idea of running your own coffee shop, but would you be okay waking up at 4 a.m. to open? Dealing with suppliers in the middle of a heat wave and handling customers who complain about 50 cents? Or maybe you're into tech. Would you be okay if your boss called you at 9 p.m. and asked you to rewrite the same code 8 times in a row? If your answer is, yeah, honestly, I'd still want to do it, then Gratu can give it a shot. But if your answer is no, and you still can't find a clear goal you like, then I've got 2 other approaches for you. First, find something. Second, try something. Find what exactly? That means starting with where you are right now. Look at your current field of study or your current job. Maybe you're bored out of your mind with it. You don't enjoy it, but maybe you're actually good at it. Or maybe once you got promoted, you suddenly found yourself liking it a bit more. If that happens, great. You can keep moving forward in your current lane. Your goals become clearer, more tangible. For example, my goal this year is to hit a certain GPA, or I want to be the project lead on this by the end of the year. Those are concrete targets. But if you're thinking, nope, no way, I cannot stay in this field. I can't keep working here. I don't enjoy this. I've never enjoyed it. And I didn't even want to study this in the first place. Then we're down to one thing, trying something entirely different. Say you've always been interested in digital media, but right now you're working at a sandwich shop. You're in a completely unrelated industry. You have no idea how to even start. Well, then start small. Make your first video. The entry barrier is low. When you try it, you'll get one of 2 outcomes. First, you might discover that the reality of digital media work means endless editing, scripts that need to be rewritten over and over, and pulling 2 or 3 a.m. nights just to meet deadlines. If that makes you miserable, then maybe you don't actually love it, and that's fine. That's just clarity. But you might also discover that you genuinely enjoy it, even if it means staying up late and grinding through the work. If that's the case, you've just taken your first real step in making the switch. Of course, all of this depends on one thing: being willing to go in a completely different direction. It's like leaving one bridge to cross another. And if you're ready to make that leap, the first thing you need to do to find your goal is to look vertically within your current path and look horizontally into entirely new fields. So, let's say you've searched high and low, but no matter what you try, you realize there's nothing you truly like doing. You just can't find that kind of goal. Does that happen to people? Absolutely, and they're not lying about it. If you ask them, they'll usually give you a vague, generic answer like, I want to be successful, I want freedom, I want to be financially independent, I want to do what I love. But when you strip all that down, they don't actually know what they love. They've just been circling around an idea without a clear target. And here's the thing, that's completely normal. A lot of people go through life without knowing what they truly enjoy. Take me, for example. Looking back over the past 20 years, nobody ever told me, you should develop an interest in this, or you should explore that field. It's just like when people pick their college major. Many don't really think it through. Why am I studying this major? What can I actually do with it afterward? I had no idea. I was completely in the dark. So, what do you do if you don't like anything? You focus on needs instead. For example, I want to make money. That's not super specific. But if you say, I want to travel to Italy next summer, or I want to buy my own car by the end of the year, that's specific. It's something you can see, touch, and measure. And because of that, your desire for it gets stronger. You start to feel a bit more motivated now. These goals might not have the same raw drive as someone chasing something they love, but they're far more achievable. They're within reach, and when something's within reach, your anxiety drops. Once you find a path that fits you, you start climbing the ladder, and every step brings a sense of satisfaction. At the end of the day, here's my bottom line. If you want to change your life, if you want to grow, you need a goal. That goal can't be vague. It has to be crystal clear and specific. So, the next question is, how do you turn a vague, empty goal into something real? Whether it's in school or your career, you've basically got two paths. Find something you like or find something you need, because only these two will give you the kind of motivation strong enough to actually push you forward. Everything else is too weak to keep you moving. How do you find a goal you like? First, dig around in the path you're already on. Explore your current field and see if there's something worth pursuing. Second, step completely outside your current industry or routine. Try something new. Fail at it. Learn from it. If you've tried both and still come up empty, then it's time for the last step. Find something you need without outside pressure. You've got to create an internal pull, something concrete you can see, touch, and measure. Turn an abstract, someday idea into something real enough to become your driving force. Let it pull you forward. Make it your goal, because the role of a goal is huge. With a goal, you have direction. You have momentum. It doesn't matter if it's long-term or short-term. If you keep working toward it, you will see results. Without a goal, life feels aimless. Even when you're doing something, it feels unfinished and unsatisfying. So start small. Pick one simple, clear goal. Then figure out the steps to get there and go after it. I believe it'll mean something to you. It'll give you something to achieve, and more than anything, I hope you find your goal, your direction, and the path that truly belongs to you.